are studying Mullein. Super excited for Mullein. Mullein. One of my favorites. One of my favorites. So Mullein is you absolutely are. What was the question?
Oh, look, you got one.
There you go. Look at that. It's magic. Magic. All right, very cool. So, today we're going to have a fun class. We are going to taste a tisane of Mullein. Mullein is super good for your lungs. That's mainly what I have used it for in the past. I also love it as like a base herb for a lot of different blends, herbal blends. And in that way, it can also be used as a smoke blend or a smudging blend. So if you just want to burn in your home, it's kind of nice because it seems to catch fire really easily, probably because it's kind of a fluffier herb. So we are going to taste our tisane. We're going to go out to the herb spiral to connect with the Mullein. We are going to torch the Mullein. We are going to face steam with Mullein, and we are going to put together an herbal smoking blend. You do not have to smoke it. You can just burn it if you would like. But like I said before, I want you guys to have all different aspects of herbal creating and making, and smoking blends can, believe it or not, you can smoke and heal your lungs.
Whoa!
Mind blown. You can't smoke everything and heal your lungs, but you can smoke some things, and Mullein is one of those things. And I have to tell you, it's two herbs that were really supportive for me when I was having some sort of, I don't know what I was having. It had lasted for a couple of months. I had this horrible cough that would not go away. And I mean, when I coughed, I was like losing my whole bladder, because it would start with just a little cough and then it would turn into this whole, like, I thought my lungs were going to come out of my mouth. It was so bad. And I went on this trip to New York, and anyway, it wasn't as fun as it should have been. Let's just say that. And I was like staying with two of my girlfriends who probably did not want to hear me coughing like that. So I come home, I'm like, I've got to use Plant Allies. And Tulsi was like calling me through the, literally like through the wall. And so I thought, well, I'm going to throw some Mullein in there too. And I drank them as tea, and it was helping, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to smoke it. And I did. And it was incredible how quickly it started working. I'd had that cough for like a month and a half and could not get rid of it. I didn't know what caused it or why I had it, but I was shocked that I was able to smoke something to heal my lungs. That just blew my mind. So even if you're not like a normal smoker, it might be something you want to use as a medicine. If you're not comfortable with that, you just drink it as a tea. You make a tincture. So there's a lot of different uses, and I tried to list as many as I could think of here. Mullein was used as toilet paper, still can be used as toilet paper. It's soft and fluffy. It is a little bit like, it is a little bit spiny. The stalk tends to be more spiny, but I mean, if you're in a pinch and you need to wipe your booty, Mullein is there for you.
They sell that at the store.
Yeah. Mullein toilet paper. Yeah, there was like a survival show I was watching one time, and the guy was super pumped that he found some Mullein, and he took like a stick and he kept wrapping around. He's like, this is gonna come in handy when I need it.
Just stocking up on some Mullein.
Stock up on Mullein. Yeah, pandemic. We didn't really run out of toilet paper. All right, so we're gonna go over to the herb spiral and yeah, go connect with some Mullein. There we go. That's why it makes a really great base for a tisane. So like I wouldn't normally just drink a tisane. The other thing too is generally, you're steeping for 10-20 minutes when you're making it for medicine in particular. If you're making it just for a tasty, tea, 5 minutes is good. But this steeped for an hour. Wow. So it's going to be heavier.
It's still really light and subtle though.
Yeah. It is. That's why it makes a really good base.
Yeah.
And
lovely.
so then you start adding other flavors. That's when you get like the second and the third flavors in your tisane, because you're adding like a basil, you're adding a flower, rose, or lavender or something like that. It can be really, really nice. Any of the mints go really well with Mullein. And so you'll know when we play around with the steam how some of those, you'll have a lot more options to play with, and kind of as you smell it, you'll kind of get an idea for what that tea would be like too. So here's where my glorious Mullein was. It's so pretty. The top is somewhere buried in here, which is kind of cool because it's got a ton of seeds, as you can see with this little one. Lots of seeds.
Whoa.
So just in breaking that, all these little seeds. Tiny. So that's why they can become invasive quick, because that was just a little break. Now this is what the first year floret looks like after you dig it up and move it and don't water it. I did this the other day. Poor guy needs some water.
We love you, little guy.
We love you. Well, the interesting thing is this one looked a lot like that one last year. And I was like, I don't know if you're going to live. But then this one ended up, we probably buried 3 feet. So this stalk was huge. And you guys saw some of it, when you came here. But by the time it ended, it was crazy. So, yeah, I don't know. This stalk just needs to come down. But I wanted to wait because I wanted to show you guys the root.
It's like a Halloween decoration.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a spider.
I know, but it is this. We have really, hard clay soil, and this. If it wasn't in our hard soil, it'd probably be even bigger, because a lot of the roots are a little bit, I don't know. That might not be true, because the teasel, I meant to grab those and show you, so I might have one of you guys grab those, because we're going to need 3 more bowls. They're on top of the dehydrator, but just so you can see a comparison of the tiny teasels we were digging up to the claw that I had 3 plants here. And those 3 plants, I'm in the middle of talking seeds. Those 3 plants were just little florets, tiny little florets that I took from a friend's property when I harvested and put them in the ground just like I did these. So this is similar in that it has these little florets. I'm hoping that these seeds are going to produce a lot of little florets that pop up here. Because I don't have anything in here, I wanted to dedicate this to Mullein, because this whole section, like Mullein means that much to me. That it's an invasive plant that I want in my garden. And where Marielle is standing is where my Star of Bethlehem comes up. So I just kind of leave that, to us. It's okay. They're little bulbs right now. I started to dig because I was going to put a Mullein there because I forgot. And then I was like, oh my gosh, Star of Bethlehem bulbs.
I packed them down in for you.
So my mission this
Don't pull the whole
winter
thing off.
is to paint
And
rocks
just pick a little bit
so
off.
that I can know where things are. So I'm gonna paint big
I
rocks
like pick
with,
the
you know,
half
I might
si-
have my
half
friend
of the side off and
Melissa
half
come
this.
over
Oh, it looks so cool.
and do a little of her artwork. 'Cause she does all my labels and they're so pretty.
Ooh.
So anyway, we're gonna take that guy. And if anybody wants to, like, you know, pass around. Oh, okay, so one point I wanted to make with Mullein. Okay, so Mullein can last 1 to 3 years, which is kind of a little weird because it's a biennial, but not always. So it just doesn't always follow the rules, I guess. So sometimes it'll just, you know, floret, and, you know, and I guess won't come back the next year. But generally it's going to be a biennial, so it'll floret the first year. The second year it's going to shoot out its stalk, and she'll use all of her energy to shoot that stalk up. And so when she does, she's dead. So, but then I guess sometimes it's like comes back as a floret and doesn't want to like produce the flowers. I don't know how that third year happens, but it does happen sometimes. So I don't know. You might want to Google it because I don't really know. I just know they can live to be 3 years.
So it sells seeds right now, though. Those seeds are just going
Yep.
tackle well too.
Yeah, so that's why I just buried the top of that. I just buried it. And then this one I wanted us to play with. So this was going to be, and I was, I mean, you guys can see what this looks like. It really does need some water, poor thing. But you can come over and rub it a little bit and feel it. And then Marielle's got a couple on the table too that she was able to harvest so that you can feel the texture and know why people would use it as toilet paper if you're not familiar with it. And then we'll just take this guy. I was thinking we might need a nice
Okay, so what parts are we using? Are we just using the leaves or are we using the whole entire thing?
Okay, so the leaves are generally going to be what you're going to use as your tea or your tincture, or if you wanted to make an elixir. The leaves are going to be like your lung medicine. The flowers you can use obviously in a flower essence, and on your sheet it tells you the purpose of the flower essence. But the flowers are also used to infuse an oil and then used as a, I don't know who that is, because every time they drive by they honk. The flowers, you can make an oil, and we keep that on hand for earaches. So you drop a couple of drops. Avocado oil or olive oil is good. Avocado may be a little bit better because it absorbs quicker into your skin. I always have olive oil. I got Greek heritage. I tend to go with the olive oil. But it will help soothe. Now, of course, if your ear infection is too serious, you need to get some help for that, because inner ear infections can be pretty painful. But if you're just starting to get it, it can be helpful in soothing an ear infection. So, like in our herbal first aid kit, it will be one of the oils that will be in that kit. Garlic would be a great addition to that. So mullein flower and garlic would be an awesome earache oil. It would.
I've done the garlic and oil.
I did the flower in a, I did the sun oil this year, but I was thinking, like, I mean, it was pretty, but I don't know. I know some people say sun oils are good. I don't know that I feel that it's the strongest medicine. I really think low and slow cook is your better option. So I think next year when I make it, I will make it with garlic and the mullein flower and just do and I want to pack the flowers in. This year I just, excuse me, I got an itch on my nose. This year, I mean, I kind of filled it and then matched it with oil, but I think I really want to kind of pack a jar full and then put the oil in and then kind of dump it all in the sauce pot or crock pot. So I was making an oil for the salve, for the for the herbal first aid, and I decided to go with well, I didn't really decide to go with this method, but like it happened because my beeswax was like not showing up. And so what I did was we have this like tiny little crock pot that does not do any kind of temperature thing, but I would turn it on and heat it up and then unplug it and then wait until it cooled completely. Honey, you can't interrupt class, okay? And wait until it cooled completely, and then I would do it again. So I don't know how many times I did it. Like it could have been 20 times, who knows? Anyway, over the course of like 5 days. And then Aaron saved me and gave me some beeswax, and I could finally make the salve, for crying out loud. So, but in that process, I learned that I really like that method, because that oil, honey, don't do that. We're going to use this in our class, please. That oil smelled incredible. I mean, it smelled incredible. So anyway, all right. So I'll let somebody break this off and take this with us to the fire, and we're gonna go. Come on, sweetie. There you go. Good job. Come on for the fun, honey. Try to eat everything. Even stop chasing shows. She's gonna get hurt. Oh my gosh. Come on, sweetie. Grab her collar. Yeah, I don't want the kids doing it though. No. Grab sweetie's collar. Got it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, all right. Come on. Come on. But just so you guys have a frame of reference to the teeny tiny little bits we were getting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just let you guys know when we're doing that if anybody wants to come out and collect for medicine.
I had a question real quick for harvesting mullein. So for like the tea and harvesting the leaves. So I've heard most people say that they harvest like the young leaves. I want to know what your recommendation is for the first, we harvest it the first or second year to make sure, like if you harvest it for the first year when it's just like that small little one, like how much I can to ensure that it still comes back.
So if you're going to harvest from the first year plant, I wouldn't take all the leaves. Now I have taken leaves, you know, kind of the center of the floret, and then I've also taken the underneath of the floret. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't seem to matter. Doesn't seem to matter. It will come back. Generally, if I'm going to use it for a tincture or an elixir, you know, medicine making where I'm going to be applying a liquid to it, I'm going to harvest that first year and use it fresh. The second year, you know, she just put like a whole lot of energy into growing and flowering, and now she's dying. So the flowers, you know, I didn't make a flower essence this year, but then it hit me that I really should have. So I missed that opportunity, but I did make the ear oil. So next year I'll make sure that I use her flowers more. But I would, now this is a little bit later. I was saving this for you guys. I would have harvested this a couple of weeks ago, and I would go ahead and use these leaves, and these would be in a tea. Before they had turned brown, and they looked beautiful, and they didn't have any spots. So yeah, generally the second year plant I'm going to use the leaves for tea, and the first year plant I'm going to use for other medicine making.
Perfect. Yeah, the reason I asked Nicole and I, we harvested one that was in our neighborhood, and like we knew that nobody wanted this, like, so we took most of it.
Yeah.
And like even the huge leaves, and that provided us with like so much tea. So I just had heard that, you know, harvest the small ones, but I was wondering if you thought that like still if you harvest those big huge ones, like if that's still okay
It is.
to use.
And that stalk that we you know, marched with, the giant root, that one, I mean, some of the leaves on that were, I mean, they were huge, and that one plant filled my jar.
Okay.
So this is the jar that plant filled, and there's a little flower in there. You can see just a little yellow. And then here is
That's not my tail.
some of the mullein.
That's my yellow.
Okay, so the flower is yellow.
You can sit
Okay,
there.
so the flower is yellow. Yeah, it's a cute little yellow flower that flowers up here.
Okay.
So in between these seeds. So back in the day, like Roman times, and they use these they use these as torches, and they used to like kind of smother them in like a beef lard, like fat, I guess, to keep it from like just burning up. But we're not going to do that. So, but I just for fun just wanted to like set it on fire as a torch. It was said that that these torches were used in a pinch, and they were, you know, people would like chase out the witches and stuff with them. I'm a witch. No, I'm telling you about
We're
that
chasing
lately. She's like,
in.
what kind of witch are we? Like, don't tell people that. Let's see.
Do you understand which is working with the earth? Understanding that medicine of the earth?
The green, not the weird stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that with the lard, it would have kept the flame. So I thought about maybe doing a coconut oil, but I didn't bring that out.
Ooh, there you go. I'll just bring. Looks cool though.
Yeah.
It could be
I mean,
a
it's
little
not-
smudge stick
Yeah,
for
it's
now.
not keeping it as a torch, so we'll just burn it.
Thank
but-
you, Mullein.
Thank you, Mullein.
Can I sing
But
the
yeah, I
Mullein
mean, that
song?
would be fun to experiment to see if like certain oils would, I mean, you know, it's already served its purpose. You've stripped the leaves. If you just have the top, it is an invasive plant, so you are kind of doing, you know, the land a favor, you know, by setting it on fire. So, I mean, it could be fun.
Can I sing the song for it?
Yeah.
So I brought this book. It's somewhere, but it's called the Kids Herb Book. But if you guys get a chance to look through it while you're here. You're gonna make one in yours, and I'm gonna make one of mine. That is called Eastern Red Cedar. I definitely want some of that. You want any?
Metal clarity.
Just a little, because we gotta make sure there's enough for everybody.
There we go. Yeah, I did. I need to get it too.
I need some of that too, Mama.
Do something for your mood.
See, I was, you gotta eat this. Water, and we'll have you all in position, and then who has a phone that we can use for music? Because I was going to bring my little speaker, but it wasn't charged.
What kind of music do you want?
Well, I want a certain song.
Oh.
So YouTube's probably going to be the best. It's a cleansing fun.
I wanted to do a face.
Getting ready for honey. Put your face over the herbs. Put the towel over your head.
He's trying to close all that little hole.
Oh, believe me, I am. This is so interesting.
Relax your shoulders. Allow yourself to breathe in deep. Release the breath completely. You can also just use it as a tisane. You can use it as a face steam. You can burn it by just putting it in a glass bowl and setting it on fire, little bits. So however you want to use it is fine. There are rolling papers here. I hear Erin is an expert roller if you need help with that. She will hook you up. So what we're gonna do is we'll let you guys just kind of get up from the table, and maybe we can move the chairs back or push them in, and each of you will get a bag, and then you can put together your blend that you can use for whatever you would like to use it for. I don't have any pins. I meant to. That can be good too. I didn't bring that one out either. To be honest, I am not a fan of Damiana. I can't stand the taste. So you want to have your base herb. Mullein, raspberry leaf, marshmallow are all really good. So I would say mullein would be your base herb. Then you want to have supporting herbs. Now the supporting herbs can be whatever you need that for. It can be to boost your mood, to help with insomnia, anxiety. They could be asthma or lung healing or stress, heartburn. So those would be like St. John's wort, skullcap, white willow bark. I clearly have none of those out here. And then you've got your flavor herbs like your lavender, mints, and pretty much any of your mints. So if you need a supportive herb, like a skullcap or a St. John's wort, I have those in the house. I guess I just kind of missed the ball on that one.